Okay, so now this is basic MM structure. To extend with so it's all of the EWM is that you are extending your space. Okay, like actually, when I say storage location, in the storage location is also where your stock is being managed. Okay, you place the stock in a storage location, but you cannot capture all those warehouse operation at storage location level. You following it? In order to go to minute level, in order to operate your operations, like in order to capture all those operations of your warehouse to a minute level, then you have to implement EWM. Okay, meaning you are extending your storage operations by implementing EWM here. So what you do, let's say for example, I have a plant which is a manufacturing plant, and I have a raw material as one storage space, one storage okay, warehouse, and finished goods I want to keep it differently, and office supplies I want to keep it differently, and some assemblies. So now I don't want more insight in office supplies products, because I hardly procure office supplies, and I want to make it simple transaction. So what I do, I just leave it at storage location level. So I don't want to extend for that products to be managed at EWM level. But for raw materials and finished goods, because I procure a lot of products and I have varieties of products, and also finished goods I have so much to keep in my warehouse. So I want to optimize those warehouse operations. So for that, I'm specifically implementing my EWM solutions for these only storages, meaning for raw material and finished goods. For that, what I'm doing, I'm extending my I'm extending my storage operations to by implementing EWM. Okay, so that's what I'm showing here. So what I'm doing, I'm having a different storage location, but I want to implement only for my EWM. So what I'm doing for raw material and for finished goods. So SL01, SL02, I'm extending my EWM. Again, within EWM, you have again a different organization elements which represents your physical spaces. So within your EWM, you have multiple storage types created. So storage types is basically your storage spaces here within your warehouse. Let's say, for example, this is one warehouse, and you have a different types of storage systems available. If you notice here, there is a case rack systems. You know what a case, right? The cases, small cases, you have it, like totes. You know that? What does it means, guys?
Can you
Case
repeat?
racks. Case racks. See here,
Yeah.
the type of storage is different here. Okay, case rack warehouse.
Just like
You
your drawers,
see,
being.
so here the cases basically it will be of small size racks. Okay, so based on what type of a product you're procuring and what type of a storage you want to use for those products, because not all the products are procured in the same manner and same packaging. Like you procure a few raw materials in a big pallets and some in a small boxes like a cartons. So here you want to manage differently, the storages you want to manage differently. So every storage space is being created as a storage type here. Okay, so that's what the organizational structure. Where is that? Yeah, so that's what you call the different storage types you create within your warehouse, which represents a different storage system. Like you implementing different types of racks within your warehouse spaces, and again within the storage space, you are again dividing your space by storage sections, meaning some products are fast moving, some products are slow moving. So you want to, when it is a fast moving product, then you have to reduce your lead time. What is the lead time? Basically the time taken to pick the stock and load the truck. So the time taking between that has to be reduced if it is a fast moving goods, because there is a huge demand in the market, and the sooner you pick and the sooner you load the truck, it will be the sooner the truck will leave, then it will achieve its lead time to reach the market or reach the demand. So whenever you want to have, you notice that there are few products which are fast moving. So what you are doing, you divide this storage space into half. So this is more accessible than this area. So that's why you, what you do within your storage type, you are dividing your storage section. And finally, you have bins. So bins are the actual physical area where you are managing your product. So when I say it's a high rack pallets, okay, these are the high rack storages, these are case rack storages, and this is automated systems. So when this basically you keep pallets here, and you keep cases here. Okay, so this racks, every rack, like within the racks you have different bins. So in that bins where the physically the pallets are being placed, or in here the cases are being placed. So if you go into this picture, you see this is one kind of a bin. Okay, this is one bin where you are keeping 1 2 3 4 5 6 cases here. Okay, so within the bin it can maximum keep as a 6 cases. If you want to again keep it above, so you're not keeping any above over it, so you just want to keep as one line, so maximum of 6 cases can be placed in this bin. So the bin is a physical space where you actually place the stock. You understand what is the organizational structure? So you see, this is some high rack storages. Okay, this is how it looks like. Here you keep a big pallets, big boxes. So pallet is something like this. You just pack it with multiple boxes, and finally you keep it here. So if you want to pack it small boxes, then you will use case racks. Depends on what kind of a storage spaces you want to implement. Based on that, you will divide your storage spaces. You create as a storage type, and within that storage type, you create sections, and within the sections, you have bins. Bins are the places physically where you place the stock. So you define an organizational structure and organizational elements between like in MM and WM. Okay, this is a basic fundamental requirement, so that you can run your business. Okay, so once you have defined your organizational structure, then only you can run your business. So okay, so let me again give you some another thing. You basically have called a different, there are different types of a data. Different data. Okay, what is a data basically? Can anybody? What is a data?
Information, I mean, regarding.
Information, yes, exactly. So information. So whenever you want to run any transactions, okay, so what basically you need, let's say for example in a supply chain, if you want to raise a purchase order, so what is a purchase order here? Purchase order is a contract. You are raising a contract to your vendor saying that I need some 100 pieces of this specification. Okay, so based on the contract, he will issue the stock to you, he will supply that stock to you. Okay, then you will receive it. So in this basic process, you have a vendor, you have a plant, okay, and you have a purchase order. Okay, so these three, all the three are maintained as a data in your system. All these three things are informations only. All these three data are informations, but you call differently in your system, in your supply chain. Okay, so when I say vendor maintenance, like when I know when somebody I have to raise a purchase order, so every time you cannot maintain his information. So let's say for example in your mobile, you are calling to somebody every day, so what you do, you smartly maintain his number, right? You save his number, say that X number. So it is kind of a master data here. So because you want to call him every day, So instead of giving his number every time, so you call him smartly, you save his number, you by your preferred name. So you just call the name and call, right, in your phone. So that vendor basically is called a master data. Okay, understood? Example vendor. And now when you have the master data, so you are calling you're calling somebody, meaning there is some transaction happening here, meaning the data again, some data is created based on your transactions. When you call somebody, and that record will get updated in your service provider. Okay, when you every month when you ask for some data, he will give you whom all you have called. So that is called a transaction data. Okay, that is basically called a transaction data. Example, purchase order in here. So in order to have all these things, the first basic thing is that you need a organizational data. So what is an organization data here?
Plant, storage location, warehouse,
Yes,
etc.
exactly. Good guys, you are getting it. So you have to be clear with these different types of data here. If you're clear with this, whenever something is happening, when somebody asks you or something is happening within your system, you should understand that what level is this, what data can I call this basically. So based on that, I maintain it. So when I want to create an organizational data, I always create in configuration level. Okay, meaning configuration, I'll come back to that. What is a configuration meanings? Okay, and when I am doing every time regular transaction with somebody, so I'll create a master data for them. And some transaction is happening, again a data is created, so that it will be automatically updated in the database tables when you do some transaction. So you're not maintaining it here. When you do some transaction, it will automatically get updated. Okay, so now all these three information has to be replicated to your decentralized system, because if you want to run any transaction in your decentralized system, so all these three informations has to be replicated to your decentralized system. Okay, so that's why we first thing what we did integration to replicate the information. So what all that information? We have organizational data, master data, transaction data. So in order to run a basic transaction, so the basic thing, the fundamental thing we need is organizational structure. Okay, understood? So these are the
Sir,
basic things we should need, without which you cannot perform any kind of a transaction. These are the basic things you have to understood. First thing. Go
uh,
ahead.
so in the organization data, the chart which you showed, right?
Uh-huh.
Do we have to have a warehouse number created if it is
Yes,
decentralized EWM
yes,
system? Do
yes,
I
yes,
have to have a warehouse number created in my other box where
yes, yes,
MMSD
yes.
is there?
Yes, correct. So what happens? Who is this?
This is Shashi.
Shashi, hi Shashi.
Yeah.
So what is doing? So what you do here? So you are linking your warehouse with your decentralized system, okay, with your EWM system. So now you have to link your part with your EWM part. So this is the link here. Okay, so what you do, you create one organizational element in ECC, and you assign that element to your EWM organizational element. So that's how the link will be generated. So whenever you procure some product to this storage location, then system will realize that this particular storage location is a WM managed, and then it will trigger a delivery to replicate to your EWM system. So what a delivery called now? It is a transactional data.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So you clear that these are the basic things you have to understand before checking into in detail. So any doubts on this, guys? I want you. Everybody wants to be clear, and everyone to be same platform. Okay, so be patient, guys. Other guys, if you know it, so please be patient to catch these guys. So in the beginning, it will be a little slower, but slowly once for at least for 2-3 weekends, you will see some slow things. But once later on, everybody will be in the same page, because even for you also, it's a new topic, isn't it? So guys, anything? Are you clear with this part? Raj, Sagar, Dilip,
Yes.
all other guys, guys. Please, every time I cannot ask you guys, but you have to be more active in this. If you don't understand, so please ask me, okay? And who are all from Arun reference? Can you Arman, Santosh, Arjun,
Santosh.
Khalil, right?
Yes.
And Sashi? Sashi
Yeah,
is
I'm from Arun's reference itself.
okay, and Dilip as well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Nice. All right, so let me get into the system. So what I would do, I will also share you my previous videos, which gives more, more understanding on IT, how IT works. Like, okay, I have some 3-4 hours of a session, so you please go through it. That will give you more insight about ITs and SAP, how it works. Okay. All right. Yeah. So let us. Okay, so just tell me what is that the first part I have to do now. So you understand, right? We are we working on a centralized or a decentralized system?
Decentralized.
So when we say decentralized, so what does it means?
We have
It
an
means
separate ECC and EWM boxes.
Yeah, so the EWM box is managed in SCM, isn't it? So as a basic prerequisite, the first part is to integrate those ECC and EWM system.
yeah, correct.
So let
So now
us go.
one question is
Yeah.
like ECC and EWM is a direct connection in between.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So any PI, any interface
Yeah.
in between.
Okay. Okay, good. So actually PI, so let me introduce this PI system. So basically PI is a middleware system which is developed by SAP itself. Like as I said, SAP has a different boxes. Okay. So again, SAP can have a PI system, so I cannot put it here. Basically, there is something called PI box. Okay. So what does this PI box does? This is a
Report.
process interfaces, process integration. Now it is called a PI PO.
PO.
Okay,
PO.
process. Okay, now it is called PI PO. Okay, so meaning a full solution on middlewares. So what basically it does is, let's say for example, I said POS, isn't it? Okay, this is a good example here. I say PI PO, and here you have a POS. Okay. So now POS is a different system. You agree that, right? So now basically in the PO, when SAP is sending some information, like in the POS, what basically happens? Some buyer comes to your store and you just scan his product and his article, and that product is sold. So now your inventory is less by that one number or five numbers. So that transaction has to be updated in ECC. So now ECC is working on a different format. That data, whatever the data updates in its database, it is differently updating. So the compatibility, this is in a different platform and this is in a different platform. And when you want to update the data in the ECC box automatically, so the compatibility should be available. Okay. So because in the POS I called articles, but in ECC I called products. I don't know what the POS how is designed. So PI system is designed for that case. As a middleware, it will create some compatible format. Basically, you call XML, right? You know XML.
Yeah.
XML format. So XML is the international standard format. Now it has come from long back, but now every third-party systems are communicating with the same XML format. So every system will understand that format. So now POS has own format, and ECC has his own format. When POS is sending an information, so PI will convert that data into XML format and send it to ECC. And then ECC updates because ECC understands that XML format. In the same way, ECC send an IDoc, so intermediate document. So in its own format to PI, the PI converts that and send it to POS. Okay. So now the question is, do we have a PI system between ECC and SCM? So since SAP, both the systems are SAP's own. So you don't need any there is no incompatibility, so you don't need PI. However, so the data whatever it sends, it understands. So what is the need of having some third party system for us? Okay, clear?
So direct
So
integration.
what happens? Yeah, so ECC, both are SAP systems. What has SAP as an advantage, what SAP has done is it has created some programs you basically called RFCs, remote function call. Okay, so RFC is something like a program which calls these systems. So you do something here, okay, any transaction, it will call RFC in here and it create the data in this box. Or you create any data here, like you create some inbound delivery, it call an RFC here in the SAM box and it will create the respective data here, respective transactional document here. So that is an advantage when you use the same SAP's boxes. If you don't use SAP box, then you need PI. That option is also available in SAP. It says, okay, you don't want to use it, don't use it, but use my middleware, which will prepare a compatibility between your third-party systems. Okay?
Yeah.
Clear, right?
Yeah, correct.
So now, as a basic part, we actually have to first define integration between ECC and EW. So in ECC, when I say decent integration, we basically have a basis integration. Okay, basis integration. See, I'm going to give you all these recordings, so just concentrate. No worries. If you still want to make notes, please make notes. Okay.
Okay.
Then functional integration. So when I say basis integration, so again basis is one of the module in SAP. Okay, what is actually does? So basis manages all the administrations of any system. Like you have, right? You have system admin, you call, right? In your desktop system, what does it system admin does? He will manage